we step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All right. BigCheeseMiami.com. Check out the website. Billy and Gary, great people. They are the owners. They've been there for over 40 years now. Absolutely dominating. And the pasta is shipped straight from Italy, and it is cooked fresh daily. So go check it out. 305-662-6855 for the holiday party platters. Anything on the menu can become a holiday party platter, so you can serve your guests at the party or maybe at work, your employees. Please call them at 305-662-6855. Manny, we were talking about in the last segment about winning this game or the ramifications of losing this game. On the recruiting end, if you lose on Saturday and you don't make it to the ACC championship game and you don't make it to the playoffs, how much can that hurt recruiting?
Well, certainly, I think, you put yourself in a position to lose some guys who maybe are candidates to flip late anyway, but it sends the wrong message, certainly. I think, look, for the most part nowadays, most of these kids are already locked in, right? They're already collecting paychecks to sign a document on Wednesday and be a part of the program. So I don't expect anything like shocking. Like I don't expect Miami to all of a sudden lose 7 players. But there will be guys that drop out and decide maybe to stay home or closer to home. And that kind of thing happens all the time. But you're right. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's damaging to the big picture. It's damaging to the transfer portal. It's damaging to the 2026 class and the 2027 class, because Mario has been talking a big game about what he's going to do here and how he's going to change the program. And to not even make it to the ACC championship game after, having the kind of season Cam Ward has had would be a big, big disappointment for a lot of people who want to see this program succeed. And so I think, maybe you'd lose a couple guys, but I don't think it would be devastating. It just would be devastating long term to have to deal with that.
Right, exactly. It would be part of our pain that we've been enduring for about 20 years now. We got signing day on December 4th. Next week. Give me the key targets that they are tracking down the stretch here.
Yeah, I think the 2 main guys that you're looking to flip from other teams are Tarvis Alford, who's a 4-star linebacker, a guy who's been committed to Ohio State for a long time. He's an in-state prospect, a guy that Miami, feels really good about in terms of their chances to flip. He's been to a bunch of games down here recently. And it seems like every year they flip somebody from Ohio State. So I think Tarvis Alford is a guy that you feel really good about if you're Miami. And then lastly is the big one, the one we've been talking about all season long, the 5-star cornerback DJ Pickett, whose cousin is already here on the team and family has played here. He committed to LSU. Oregon and Miami were sort of surprised to see that happen. And now it's a matter of flipping DJ Pickett, and whether or not Miami or Oregon wins that will be the interesting storyline for the Hurricanes. But, all in all, I expect them to sign about 25 high school recruits. They've got 23 commitments right now. Could be 24 if they end up losing a guy. I know that one of their current commitments in the secondary, Timothy Merritt, could be flipping to Tennessee's an Alabama kid. But, they got a lot of guys in the secondary in this class. And so ultimately, it's going to come down to whether or not they can land Pickett and whether or not people say that makes the class special.
All right. Bears have fired Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, not surprising considering the way he managed those last 30 seconds yesterday.
Yeah. Well, anything on Mike McDaniel getting fired there? Nothing? Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, all right. So we look at Miami's recruiting class, and we look at the strength of Miami's recruiting class. So tell me what you have learned from Mario's first recruiting classes.
Well, I would say this in terms of this. Let's start with the 25 class. I think the strength of this class is defense. I think they've done a really good job yet again. Last year was defensive line. I would say this year it's secondary, which is an area that obviously needed an upgrade. Jabari Antoine, Chris Ewald, Bryce Fitzgerald, Amari Wallace, Hilton Stubbs. Those are all really, really good young defensive backs, better players, I think, than maybe some of the previous groups that have come in here. And it's necessary. You know, we talked about the safety position this year and how really after Cam Kitchens left, you felt the drop off right back there at that safety position. Well, you've got guys now. I think Bryce Fitzgerald is kind of a young Cam Kitchens. A guy who really does a great job breaking on the ball, has a lot of picks. He's a local kid out of Columbus High School. I think Hilton Stubbs out of Jacksonville Mandarin, a kid that I got to watch pretty closely last year several times on the 7-on-7 circuit, and as well as his team making the state championship game. Stubbs is an absolute stud at that safety position. I think both of those guys, you think about the safety position in the future at Miami with Mish Powell, I think between those two guys, you got Zaquan Patterson, you got some other young guys that they're developing back there. I really like what they're going in terms of the safety and defensive back room in the future. And then I think on the offensive side, I really like the tight ends and the offensive linemen that they have in this class. I think Susu Alufatuli, a kid out of Bishop Gorman, is probably going to be the center of the future. He's going to be a guy you probably see start here for 3 or 4 years. He's that talented. I think he can come in as a freshman and definitely get in the rotation and be ready to play and start by 2026. So I like him a lot. I think the two tight ends, Schott and Gilbert, are really good players, solid, prospects getting ready to come in for an Elijah Arroyo and to be impactful type pass catchers and playmakers in this offense. And I really like Josh Moore, the big, tall wide receiver out of West Broward High School, right next to my house down the street. He's a kid who was committed to Florida, big body, 6'4", 6'5" frame, super athletic. Miami hasn't had many guys built like him. And obviously they wanted Jeremiah Smith last year, weren't able to get him. Josh Moore is not Jeremiah Smith, but he's damn good. And I think he's a guy that you look at and say he's got the potential to be a true number one wide receiver, NFL first-round pick type of guy.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. What do you got going on the Athletics so folks can subscribe and check it out?
Well, look, they just finished, are putting out our power rankings for the ACC this week. So we have that fresh article up. I also do my oddly specific prediction. I've been 8-1 picking games the last 2 weeks in a row. So that's a pretty good percentage for me. You can check that out. And you can listen to the latest podcast that I have with Carlos Ledo. We put it out on Wide Right. So that's all available for you to listen and download.
All right. Good stuff as always. And, of course, call our friends at the Big Cheese. Go visit them. BigCheeseMiami.com, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. Thanks to them, they are great sponsors of our NIL and recruiting report. Manny, have a great weekend, my brother. Appreciate you immensely.
Appreciate you, man. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro with our BigCheeseMiami.com NIL and recruiting reports.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.